Hello, 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 and good evening, stamping friends. Welcome to May. Today is May 5th, 2025. I am a little bit late this evening, but thank you for those of you that stuck around waiting for me to start. Give me just a moment. Let me go ahead and share this video. I want to make sure that as many people as possible have the opportunity to join me live if they would like to see the video um, live tonight. So give me just a minute. Let me go ahead and share our screen or share this video on Facebook with just a quick reminder to let folks know to come in and join me. Just as a quick reminder, if you are joining me for your first time, just say hello. Interactions with me gets you an opportunity to win prizes as I demonstrate projects this evening. I am Caron Bailey. I am your ATX Stampin' Lady. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I have been a demonstrator for almost 10 years now. And I am enjoying my stamping journey where I believe in bringing you projects, techniques, tips that help you in your journey as well. You guys, why do I have this catalog sitting right here? This catalog goes live tomorrow, May 6th. You will be able to order anything that you'd like from this catalog as the catalog goes live. Don't forget also our online exclusives will go live as well. I can't show you the inside of the catalog. It is prohibited by Stampin' Up. But guys, with a new annual catalog comes our in colors. Our in colors are Cloud Cover, Darling Duckling, Secret Sea, Strawberry Slush, and Timid Tiger. Unfortunately, Cloud Cover in the ink pad and the ink pad only will not be available. There's been some quality control issues with the ink pad, so this ink pad will not be available for customer purchase. However, the ink refills and our little mini ink cubes will be available. So if so that will be the option for you to get this ink color in an ink pad format. Other than that, all the other colors will be available. If there's any updates to the Cloud Cover ink pad, I will definitely let you know. All right, one more update for you. This past month, April, I generally get my paper pumpkin kits the last week of the month, the third week of the month, and then I go live on the last Friday of the month. However, for whatever reason, we did the whole transition from the Paper Pumpkin site to Paper Pumpkin now being housed on the Stampin' Up site. I just got my April Paper Pumpkin kit. So guys, join me back on Wednesday. Wednesday would be the 7th, and we're going to do the Inked Occasions Paper Pumpkin live for our Wing It Wednesday event. All right, so what are we doing tonight? I decided, I come across so many different sketches, and I've decided that I'm gonna do a segment where I just grab a sketch somewhere. Hey, Becca. Oh, this is my first Sketchy Monday, so good. Thank you for joining me on my inaugural Sketchy Monday. So I come across, whether it's Pinterest or in the catalogs, wherever it is, all these awesome layout, and I'm like, I just want to share with you guys how to create from them, and then not only how to create from them, but also some tips and tricks for designing based on greeting card sketches. All right, so let's put this guy away, and again, don't forget, this goes live tomorrow, May 6th. If you don't have a catalog, please let me, and you would like a catalog, please let me know, and I will do my best to get you a catalog. I do send catalogs free with purchase if you're a VIP customer of mine. And then with the VIP, you will get a free catalog during the catalog celebration time. Other than that, if you would like a catalog, I definitely, with your first purchase, you just plop one in your cart, and I will give you a gift in a comparable value for the value of the catalog that you put in your cart. Otherwise, check in my blog. You will always find a link to a PDF version of the catalog. Guys, let's go ahead and have some fun. All right, let me share with you the sketch that we're going to work from tonight. If you take a look in the bottom right, I posted the sketch today on when I decided which one I was using. And the Sketchy Monday sketch is coming to us courtesy of Mojo Monday, and it is their sketch number. It looks like 568 is what I think the number is. So when I decide on a sketch, what I do is, especially if it's one that has dimensions, the measurements already on it, is I go ahead and I try to create that with just scrap, and whatever. This is not a card. So I went ahead and I did the layout, right? And I make notes on this, and I will put this, I've created a little binder, and this binder, I start to keep my sketches, okay? So once I create a sketch, I will always have measurements that I can go back, and I write the numbers, everything on there. I write numbers, etc. So I know if I want to go back and I make something, I can always refer back to my sketchbook. So if you don't have a sketchbook, definitely get a sketchbook. When there's something that you come across that you like, go ahead and sketch it out and put it in your little binder. So I'm going to put this in my binder at the end of the evening. But based upon the Mojo Monday sketch 568, now, matter of fact, I do need to write that on here. Mojo 568 is the number. So I always know where I got mine. Let's go ahead and create our actual card this evening. So I went ahead and let me tell you what I'm going to be playing with for today. I'm going to play with this stamp set. This is called Year of Flowers. I believe Year of Flowers is on our last chance list. Last chance items are those items you can always find. Either they may be retiring, they're not in the current catalog or will not roll over into the current catalog, so they are on our retired list or our last chance list. Once they are gone from the last chance list, then they're gone and they will not be available for purchase anymore. So our Year of Flowers is the kit the stamp set I think we're going to work with. I decided I was going to pull out my ever trusty Thoughtful Journey 6x6 Designer Series paper. And I've pre-cut some projects, I've pre-cut everything for us. So let's go ahead and take a look, okay? And you know all of the measurements, so I don't really need to tell you about them, right? But I will anyway. So this is our card base, which is a standard A2 size card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. That is a standard A2 card base. And this is in what I call a hamburger fold, hot dog fold. If I do it this way, it's a hamburger fold, right? So this is our hot dog fold A2 card. We're going to put this away because I like to assemble my cards before I put them on the card base. Here's this piece of Lost Lagoon paper. I've gone ahead and I embossed it, and I embossed it with, oh my gosh, I don't remember the name of it. Hold on. What is the name of that embossing folder? It just went out of my head. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I think it was in the occasions, right? Or in the, nope, there it is. This is our Dotted Circles 3D embossing folder. That is the name of the embossing folder that I used to emboss this one with. All right, then we have a strip, and this is going to be our 4 by 5 and a quarter. This is our 1/2 by 4, and this is in Wild Wheat. Wild Wheat is retiring. This is one of our outgoing 2023 to 2025 in colors. So if you want that color, you need to make sure you stock up on it tonight because it's not going to be available. All right, so then we have our measured piece. This is 1.5 by 2 1/4, and it's going to be matte on a piece that is 1 5/8 by 2 3/8. Here's the rest of my stuff. Y'all, what did I just do with the rest? What did I just do with the rest of my well, isn't that a blip? Oh my goodness. Huh. All right. I almost tossed it, you all. And so we have our Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. This is this piece right here. This is 2 inches by 5 1/4, and our matte layer is going to be 2 1/8 inches by 5 1/4. You see where we're going with this? Then we have a piece, and this just happens to be the back of this. And this is this layer, which is 2 1/2 by 3 inches. So our matte layer will be 2 5/8 by 3 1/8. And then we're just going to go ahead and put this baby together. Okay, so there we have it. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, before I do that, you guys, here's what I wanted to do, okay? This is pretty just as it is, but I'm going to grab my craft ink, my white craft ink, and I'm going to add just a little bit of interest to this before I go ahead and, let me grab a piece of paper here. So I'm just going to take my, let me see if I can find a little sponge dauber. You would think I don't have these things around, but I do. But do I have them where I need them when I need them? Absolutely never. It is just the story of my life. All right, give me just 1 second, and I'll figure out what I can drag. Okay, let's see how the dragging is going to work. So I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, right? And because I'm going to lightly, right, just going to lightly drag. Because I want to add a little bit of something to it, okay? And then lightly drag. Just a little bit of interest. Now I'm going to set this aside for it to dry, because our craft ink takes a little bit longer to dry. So I just dragged that different color over it. And that white, because I dragged it so lightly, is only going to hit the raised portion of the embossed piece. So we're going to put this aside right now, let that dry a little bit, and we're going to just go ahead and assemble everything else, okay? How is everybody today? Is everybody having a good day? The sky opened up here in Austin today. Yes. I think our weather people maybe need not to get paid for this weekend, because we were supposed to have like, oh, the massive thunderstorms and yada yada yada. was all supposed to be this weekend. There was nothing this weekend. Okay? Absolutely nothing. And then the sky decided to open up like nobody's business today. Absolutely. And just like that, you guys, we can go ahead and we can create simple cards. It's easier when the measurements are there, but if something doesn't have, if a layout that you want does not have measurements, don't give up on it. Bring out your copy paper, and just have a little play with it. If it looks like maybe a 2-inch piece, start with a 2-inch piece, and then either cut it down, cut it up, whatever it needs to be, to start, until you can figure out what the exact measurement is. Well, exact for you, of course. All right, so year of flowers, it is May, so I'm going to go ahead and use the May stamp. Of course, I did not. This is new to me. I have not put my stickers on. So let's find May. Why did I not put my stickers on here? January. That's June. August. That looks like April. Here we go. This one's May. Okay. This one's May. And just as a tip, this is how I actually do put my stickers on. I leave them right there. I take off that backing. I remove a half of the release paper. Whichever half you release, that's up to you. And then I lay this piece in place carefully. Right? And then once that part is there, then I can go ahead and lay the rest of it in place. And then I remove the other half. Generally, that's all it takes. And then it'll sit. Now I'll do the rest of them later this evening. And then let's see, what are our sentiments here? Now keep in mind, you don't always have to have a sentiment. You don't. But I'm wanting to see, yeah, it'll just fit. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing here. And this is just because I have not, like I said, I just got them in. Alright, so I'm going to do the same thing. Take off one half. Make sure the rest of it is aligned. The half that has the release paper is lined up perfectly. And so when you release the other piece, it should lay perfectly where it needs to be. Alright, so there we have that. Let me grab a block. And now I'm going to grab my little embossing buddy and my black ink. Okay, then I'm gonna align this. You guys, I have got to, my goal is to learn how to use a T ruler. Does anybody use a T ruler? Um, does anybody use a T ruler in their crafting? Oh my gosh. Here we go. Sending a floral hug. And then I'm going to go ahead now. And I'm going to go ahead and add our little image. Just like so. Oops. And then I'm going to add some embossing powder and then heat set our image. Okay? I am going to color them in. And this should go really, really quickly. You do? Oh my gosh, I would love to be able to use a T ruler. If you guys have stamped with me before, you will know that I can't do anything straight. Even with a ruler, my sentiments are off, I'm a little bit off. So I'm trying always to find ways to, to get my straight, to be straighter. And a T ruler would be perfect for that. I tried using it without watching any videos, and I was just like, I was confounded. So yes, once I get the hang of using a T ruler, I will definitely be sharing with some videos on tips and tricks on using a T ruler. All right, so this is dried or embossed. Let's put some of this stuff out of the way. All right, so for the coloring of my flowers, I am going to use Summer Splash. Now there's not a lot of real estate to cover, so this really isn't a whole lot of involved coloring here. But I am going to let that dry for a bit, and then I'm going to go back in and try to get it a little bit more color, if that makes any sense. Now I'm actually going to grab my Old Olive. I'm sorry, this is my Light Mossy Meadow. Let me see what that looks like. And I'm just going to do that on my leaves. Now the trick with coloring with alcohol markers, you guys, is if you're wanting to do a variation, even if you just had the light and you wanted to add a little bit of depth, let that color sit for a little bit. And then I'm going to go right back over it. Probably hasn't sat long enough to be able to see the differentiation in there. But if you let it sit long enough, you can see a little bit of the texturing and the highlighting. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do with this is I need to ground it, first of all. And then I want to add, where's my my brush? My blending brush. This has just a little bit of blue left on it. I believe I was using Azure Afternoon. And I'm just going to add just a hint of blue, and that's going to represent the sky, okay? Because I don't want it to be so stark as a white. So I'm just going to add a little bit more color to it. Now I am working on a glass mat, so it will wipe and clean. That's the purpose of the glass mat. Look at that. Just adding a little bit of color to break up that stark white of the cardstock. Okay. All right, Becca, you are my only guest this evening, so guess what? You are going to be the recipient of this cute little card that we made this evening. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Now, in my template, I went ahead and added the dimensions to the back of the mat, but I think in this one I'm going to add the dimensions on this portion right here. Why, I'm not sure, but I'm wanting to see if it'll make, how much of a difference it will make in that process. Now, at this point, it's a guessing game. How many dimensions is Caron going to use on this card? On this little piece right here. Yay! I'll bring it to you on Saturday with lunch. So I'm going to have to stop myself because really I would put I would put more in here, okay? But it is a little piece, so I am going to stop. My obsession with dimensionals is that one of the things for me is if I have done it earlier in my card making days, is when I get cards or I sent them, and you did, some like corner and one, but it would end up being that if you pressed on it, it would depress in the middle. And I found that irritated me a lot. Okay. Again, just a little hints and ways to add texture to your card. You say 6. Well, I had 9. And I had to stop myself at 9. All right, so there we have this. All right, so now we can go ahead and put our card together, right? So if we see if you look at the template that's on the screen, the bottom left, and my sample that I have here, you'll see that the first thing that goes on is our 2-inch matted layer. And I made a little note for myself. I don't know if you see it. When I designed this, I did it about 1/4 of an inch. I left 1/4 of an inch border on this side. Now these are little notes that I made to myself after I put this together. And see where I put this strip? I decided when I did this that I want it to be about 1 inch. So I know when I'm creating this, I need this to be about an inch from the bottom. So when you create your samples, go ahead and make little notes so that when you try to recreate this, you have your notes as to how you wanted it to be designed. So now I'm going to use my my grid lines on my glass mat. And I said in my notes that I wanted to have a 1/4 inch border. So I'm going to make that 1/4 inch border by using my grid lines. So I lined this up on a straight line on one of the darker lines, and I see that this is my 1 inch, my 1/4 inch top, and it's lined up with my 1/4 inch bottom, and then I'm just going to lay this down. Okay. I'll turn this over. All right. Perfect. Now, the next thing I'm going to do now, with this particular embossing folder, you've got to probably going to end up having to put a lot of adhesive because of the circles that's in it. It might take a lot. I might even end up having to use, what is that tape called? Score tape. Yeah, I might end up breaking out my score tape. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how this, yeah. Gonna let that sit and connect for just a little bit. Just got to be careful about and that should be something that you consider as well when you are creating. Your adhesive type does make your type of adhesive does play a part in it could play a part. Okay. Yeah, because that part is so raised, it's not having good contact. So I'm having to make sure that there's good contact. Oh yeah, that's good. But I'm going to make sure that I'm going to use score tape or double-sided tape on the rest of this. Not because I don't like glue, just because of that part. So I'm just trying to make sure I have the best possible adhesion that I can. Or adherence, whatever the right word is. Now tear and tape is perfect because you can actually, you don't have to tear it with snips. It is relatively easy to take off. All right, so then the next thing I'm going to add is, let's put this on. All right. So when I looked at this and I said, my little notes to myself said I wanted it to be about an inch from the bottom, right? And so I'm going to use my score line, my glass mat again to help me to line it up, okay? So if you'll see, each of these squares, the darker ones, is a 1 inch square. So I'm going to line this up, top and bottom, and this darker line at the top is my 1 inch mark. So I'm going to make sure it's at 1 inch over here. If my head gets in the way, I'm sorry. And that it's at 1 inch over here. Okay? Hold on. Hold on. 1 inch over here and 1 inch over here. Okay, perfect. All right, next one we're going to do is our 2-inch or 2.5 by 3-inch square, matted square, or rectangle because it's not a square. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to roll this back. And then I want this, I don't want to cover up so much of, because I do want the beautiful image from the designer series paper to kind of speak for itself. So I'm going to go, I have this on a 1-inch mark. So I'm going to take up maybe about a 1/4 inch. And again, I'm using this line right here. As my guide. And I'm going to line that up. Okay. Just like that. And then the last thing that we're going to add is our little sentimental sending you a hug. Now, there is a little floral sprig that's in the design. I don't really want that, but I'm going to do a little bit of an embellishment, this little gold, right? And what I want to do with this is, where's my score tape? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon. Yep, and then all I'm going to do, oops, let's redo this. Right? I'm going to take this off. I'm going to twist it a little bit, and then I'm just going to lay this on here like that. And I want this to be twisted in there. Oops. Hold on. That's what happens when I try to get fancy, y'all. Fancy, fancy. And I'm just going to put this right on here, making sure that there's loops on both sides, enough of the loop, right, on both sides, right, and it looks like a god-awful mess in the back, but you should have this beautiful loop that's extending from behind like that. Let's put this guy back on here as well. Perfect. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Add a little bit more to anchor it down. Look it, when I send you a card, right, what does that tell you, right? None of it is going to fall apart. I make sure I seal it down like nobody's business. Because I do take the time to make it for you. So I rather that if it has to go through the mail, or even if you happen to handle it a little bit roughly, or a little bit rough, it's still going to get to you in good condition, and you're still going to be able to enjoy the card. All right, so here we go. Making sure this is straight again. There we go. Boom. Look at that. And then last but not least, if I can find my card base, I'm now going to just add it to the card front. What do you guys think? She says, as it should be. What do you think of this sketch? So now it's very easy to, I showed you some of my thought process, my design process when I'm following a layout, right? But as always, you can use a design or layout exact. You can use it for inspiration. I mean, if I was doing this exact, I would have gone and die cut a whole bunch of branches and leaves and so on and so forth. But that's not what I wanted. I used the sketch, and I decided, and I have to put a lot of glue because of this embossing folder, guys. Not that I generally put this much glue on when I'm affixing the front, okay? It's just this particular embossing folder has a lot of crevices that needs to make sure that the adhesive is in it properly. All right. Gonna do the same thing. Perfect. All right, guys. So what do you think of this card? I love it. Now take a look at it next to the sample that you can see right over there. What do you think? I think I came pretty darn close. And then here's my template that I'm going to stick right back in my binder. That shows how easy it is. And so whenever I'm in the mood to recreate something, I'm looking for something really quick, I just reach for my template binder and I go ahead and I create a card. You guys, don't forget to save the date and join me on Wednesday. We are going to play with the April Paper Pumpkin Kit. Thank you, Becca. And again, make sure to remind me. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it back in this envelope with your name on it. Matter of fact, let me do that because I will forget. Hold on. So if you guys see a sketch that you'd like for me to play with, go ahead, reach out to me on my Facebook page and tag me and say, hey, can you do this on your Sketchy Monday or anything like that? And I'd be more than happy to go ahead and play with that sketch for us, especially if it's one that does not have dimensions. I'll be more than happy to play with it. But you guys, here's our Sketchy Monday. Hope you enjoyed this card. And if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator or a catalog and you would love to have one, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thank you, Becca. And also, we have got a new starter kit special starting tomorrow for all of the month of May. You guys, this is one of the best offers that Stampin' Up! Has had. You can get $165, oh my gosh, $165 worth of product for $99 when you join Stampin' Up! join my team specifically, Stampin' Up! During the month of May. I do hope you will consider joining my team. I would love to have you. On that note, you guys, thanks for joining me this evening. Have a blessed evening, and happy stamping. Good night.